former Senior Director of Vaccine Research and Development at Wyeth Pharmaceutical, and Dr. Goldman Rakic's twin sister. Please welcome Dr. Ruth Rappaport.
You have to forgive me, I was a little taken by that film, which I hadn't seen before. Of course, it's a great pleasure for me to accept this impressive tribute on behalf of Pat, tempered only by the fact that she could not be here today to accept it herself. I know she would have been both honored and humbled by her inclusion in this prestigious organization, especially in the company of such eminent scientists as Barbara McClintock and Jewel Plummer-Cobb and Joan Stites. Pat was my identical twin sister, as you already know, and although we were both scientists, we rarely spoke about our work, preferring as women, of course, to, thank you, preferring as women, of course, to discuss feminine issues like clothes and shoes and jewelry, cosmetics, and obviously trying to borrow each other's items, of course. And of course, as you can tell from the comments, although we, as I say, we were both scientists, but we didn't speak about science very often. As you can tell from the comments of many of the people in the film, Pat was definitely a pioneer and a very strong mentor, a very strong model. And in my view, she was also a perfectionist, because I could see quite often how much time she would spend on something that someone else would just pass off overnight. She was very, very concerned about just the perfection of her writing and in her work. She demonstrated in her work her imagination, vision, fortitude, and even artistry. She was a very artistic person and could do wonderful drawings and sometimes use those in her work to show elements of the brain. And of course, as you heard before, at a time when eminent authorities thought little progress could be made by investigating the cerebral cortex, Pat did just that. Just like Barbara McClintock, she wouldn't listen, and focused her energies on understanding the structure and function of the prefrontal cortex, which is the site of the highest brain functions such as thinking and decision-making. Further, she also recognized there was no, later on in her career, she recognized there was no specific forum for publication of work in this field. So together with Pashko, her husband, who was chairman of the Department of Neurobiology, as you know, and who could not be with us today because he happens to be attending a meeting in China. Together they founded and co-edited the journal Cerebral Cortex, which is now a major journal in the field of neuroscience. And of course, during her lifetime, she did receive many notable awards. She received, just about a month before she passed away, an honorary degree from St. Andrew's College in Edinburgh. And also she was in the National Academy of Science as a lonely woman amongst a lot of men, even though it was later in time. And she was elected president of the 35,000-member Society of Neuroscience, which was also mentioned in the film. I recall vividly seeing a 1995 photo of Pat sitting amongst 25 past presidents in the front row, surrounded by a cadre of very erudite-looking gentlemen. And of course, to me, in that photo, she appeared like a petite giant in a field of very strong-minded men, which, in a sense, she was, because in those days and before, it just did take a great deal of bravado to work in that arena. And she did it, and she became eventually a part of it. So my message here today to most of the young women in this audience is, I do hope her example will inspire some of you to pursue and experience the excitement of scientific inquiry, because there is excitement there. It's not often recognized, but there's a tremendous amount of excitement in scientific exploration. And to believe in yourselves, just as Pat did. So Pat's inclusion in the Connecticut Women's Hall of Fame means a great deal to me and to other members of my family, and is truly a great and lasting tribute for which I thank you all so very, very much.